9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. 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 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Clear tower. Roger tower.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. It is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. I'm Doug. Joining me today is Matt, and new to the program, Steve. Welcome, Steve. We're going to be talking about, what are we talking about? Night
Shift 282.
That's 282, amongst other things. Steve's a special guest here.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, Steve.
Okay. Well, I was an aerospace engineer, and I had a top secret clearance. And just for fun, I brought in some of my security papers to show you guys just how much fun it is to be.
We're going to put those up in front of the camera.
No, I don't think so.
I just have thinking all my social security is in here, but you know what?
We have security outside.
Every 5 years.
Remember, people can people can see more than we're seeing here.
Every 5 years, they reinvestigate you. And
Uh-oh.
it's an in-depth investigation, and they know everything about you. And for instance, one time sometimes will call you in for an interview after they've investigated you if they have a question. Where were you on January 6th, 1984? And it's like, I don't know, but I have a feeling you're going to tell me. Yeah. And it's like, and I won't turn this around, but actually, this is a detention certificate. And I was detained overnight because I had been drinking and I parked my boat in the wrong place.
Bad boy.
And and it's like nothing ever happened. I got let out in the morning and I had a hangover.
Karen.
And it's like, the story is that we pulled up to go into happy hour, and it was an illegal spot, and the lady says, "You can't park your boat there." And my butthole friend, who was my crew was pretty gnarly, but anyway, my buddy Kurt says, "We just got in from Cabo San Lucas, and my dog has to take a shit." And we drank a bottle of Jack Daniels. And
I figured.
Roared.
I figured there was booze involved.
We went into happy hour, and I didn't hear about that thing again until I was going through my top secret clearance. It's like, "Oh yes, Mr. Jacobson," and I told the lady this story, and I got her laughing, and yes, I got the clearance.
Oh, very nice. How far do you have to travel, let's say, if they need to interview you personally?
Oh, and they'll come to you.
Oh,
yeah.
They come to your house, they talk to your neighbors,
Yeah.
They talk to your references. They
you got to give them references around your
every
neighbor.
5 years. There's no hiding.
My daughter had to give references for the whole neighborhood.
So, this
people
is
next to you, people next you have to get all that. Yeah.
In here we have, every document is tracked, and I'm a custodian of classified documents, and you can't lose them. Classification guides. It's like working in the classified world sucks. It's really, really slow to get anything done.
So it's kind of like Trump when he had the stuff in his garage and it got taken out.
I don't know.
Is it like that?
Oh, right into politics. Right into politics.
I have stuff like this. Keep this because if I ever got a job again, I'd have to fill out the papers, and you damn sure better fill them out exactly the same as you filled them last time. So I keep copies of everything.
And you worked for who you worked for? Defense contractor? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Oh yeah, no, I worked for Northrop Grumman, and the Global Hawk was the last job I had, and so a lot of this stuff.
Is
has
the
to
Global
do with
Hawk the propeller one or the jet one?
No, it's a jet.
Jet.
It's single
That's
engine. It's
badass.
like a glider that flies above 50,000 feet.
Wow.
Way the hell up there, and it can stay up there for a whole day.
Man.
And it's remote controlled, and so in testing, I was part of the flight crew, but we're on the ground in a trailer. And we'd work at Edwards, and it was really exciting to be at Edwards because we worked out at a place where they tested the X-15. It was like this bunker, but we had trailers and antennas all over the place because we're talking to the satellites, because the way this works is like it's an airplane which is completely automated as far as it's always on autopilot.
Right.
And you tell it to go to this heading, go to this altitude, and it goes wherever you want, you know. And then when somebody on what we call the VFR visual flight rules wants to talk to you, they call the airplane, and you know, and it goes up over the sat nav and goes back to, you know, like South Dakota.
Oh,
wow.
And that's where the pilot is, and he's talking to someone in Afghanistan. You know? And it's like, so that's the way it works. It's really quite amazing, the unmanned
crazy.
systems. And so I worked in the unmanned systems division in San Diego.
But you also worked on radar, right?
Well, I was the I was the engineer who integrated the radar on the Global Hawk on this, and it was a new airplane. I mean, a new configuration, and the only reason for this configuration was my radar. So I was kind of an important guy.
Did you have to study as you learned about radar? Did you have to learn about the history of radar and how it?
Oh, I've took radar classes.
I have a huge
UCSB.
argument about Roswell, so I have to ask this: if you were involved in radar and know about radar,
I do.
which I know no one else that does.
Yeah, yeah, not me.
You don't know?
No.
Me neither. They say one of the theories in Roswell, the two theories is one of the lightning struck, you know the story. Lightning struck, there was two craft, lightning struck one. It did something with it and it crashed into another one, and then they both crashed. They found one and one was found.
Okay.
Somewhere else.
Some weeks,
places.
some months or weeks later.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that. But the other theory is that we were experimenting with some sort of new radar system.
Yeah, I've heard that, and it brought it down. They couldn't handle our microwaves, and I have a very hard time believing that because, you know, there's all kinds of radiation in space, and if they're flying in space, you're getting radiated with a lot more than just RF.
Well, they said they heard more likely lightning because it's random and pretty powerful. So.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, but I just thought I would ask you because
I
thought it was I thought it might have been experimental radar. It was also Aztec, New Mexico.
I don't know how.
Have you ever seen Mars Attack? Not Mars Attack.
I love that movie.
No, not Mars Attack.
I'm not even sure if the UFOs are really there or they're not there. They're kind of there and they're kind of not
Yeah.
there. I don't know if they
Close
can
Encounters?
get struck by lightning.
Is that the movie you made? We're gonna.
It's the old one with yeah, it's not.
It's not
Mars Attacks. It's they came in. It was a black and white, and they came in and they used this powerful radar thing on this trailer on the back of a Jeep. To shoot
I
down.
don't think I've seen that.
I think that's fun. Yeah, no, I think
that's,
there was. I've read those rumors that they. I have a hard
They were
time believing they're that
experimenting. You
sophisticated.
know, I have a buddy of mine at work, and he's vehemently says there's no way it's radar. There's no way we had the technology back then to, to produce a radar that could, to be powerful enough to, but.
I wouldn't underestimate the
Just,
government.
we're not going to talk about the drones today, but I have a theory on the New Jersey drones. And,
Okay, please.
When I was in
please tell
college,
us.
we learned about one of the classes I took. Very cool class was about lasers and masers.
Right.
A maser is a microwave.
Oh,
Microwave.
no, don't do that.
Yeah, are we still going? We're still recording, right? Anyway,
Did it
they
go
have these
out or did it-
microwaves.
It flickered.
It flickered, yeah. But anyway,
Right there.
as long as your computer or your recording is still going. Anyway, but
I'm thinking that was deliberate.
I think what's happened is I think the government has. I mean, I know that because I worked at unmanned. They love their drones. They got lots of drones,
Right.
all kinds of drones. And,
Right.
I know that the people in New Jersey saw drones as big as cars, and they saw pictures of them. And that's not hobbyists. So we know the government's out there with their drones. And,
Yeah.
and there are also people who reported normal kinds of UAP.
Yeah.
So I think the
Right.
government's got a new toy.
Yeah.
And I think George Knapp is right on. You probably heard him
I
talking
don't think it's
about
new.
that the drones are the new swamp gas. But
Yep.
if they're out there investigating the UAP with probably very sophisticated drones, which are better than a jet that can't stop,
Right.
so I think that's what they're doing.
Ooh,
And
size
it's
of
also a great
SUVs.
cover story. It's just the drones.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
out
It's
there
not a
with their
UAP.
drones.
It's just drones.
Well, it suddenly died out. Now is it
I
still
know.
going on?
It's still going on, is what I'm hearing.
But we don't care enough.
But we
anymore.
don't care now. Right. Exactly. It's still going on. And
worked.
again, you're talking big legacy media is like, yeah, we're going to focus on it for now. Oh, no, we're going to worry about Trump and this and this and that. So, yeah, it's still going on. It's been going on
think it's
before
gonna happen again
it was
because-
going on.
I think every time we have
It's
a
never
new
stopped.
UAP flap, like a Phoenix Lights or something like that, there's going to be drones involved. They're going to be up there.
Especially
And they're gonna
now,
say
you're right.
it's the drones.
I think you're right. I think the new swamp gas, which is going to be continuous, is drones.
But I think these may be very sophisticated drones with all
Same.
kinds of sensors. And
I think it's all of it.
That's very smart. I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe they are trying to learn something.
Right.
Although I also have this theory that they already know everything they need to know, and they don't
Yeah.
need to investigate it, and that's why they don't investigate
Remember,
it, because they already know.
I told Doug, I think it was a flex. It was like, you know, we're going to throw up our badass drones, let everybody take pictures and throw it all across the nation. China needs to see this. Russia needs to see this. And these are our fucking new drones, and they're badass. I don't think they're new. I think they just decided to let people see them more often now.
No, I want to see that too.
I know.
Yeah, well, they got new weapons.
Yeah, you got UFOs and drones on your list now.
All right, so Night Ship 282. The investigators remain baffled over the events that caused the crash of the Cessna cargo plane piloted by Thomas J. What is that?
Precios, I think.
Precios?
I think.
Precious.
Near Spanish Fort Alabama on the night of October 23rd, 2002. Is this a kind of a pet project of yours, Steve?
Well, it's the
If you
thing
investigate,
that got
I see
me,
maps and I
it's
see-
the thing that got me hooked. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, the
it's the thing.
crash pictures.
Yeah, so, you know, when I was watching this and I was looking at it.
Where did
of
you
course
first see the story?
I
Do you
think I
remember?
saw it on Ancient Aliens.
Oh, really?
They did one
Really?
on Ancient Aliens.
I remember seeing that.
They've
And
seen
we
it
have-
in a couple of different things, but
Let's kind of go about what happened. They were
Yeah,
flying
so-
along, minding his own business.
yeah, so this is a guy who he works for DHL.
Yeah, he's got a business.
And he's got 400 pounds of luggage, freight, cargo that he's taken to Mobile. And it's just, you know, like letters and papers
Yep.
and some hats, I remember. Anyway, so he takes off, and I won't try to show this I did a lot of analysis on it and just looking at it, but basically he took off, makes a big sweeping right turn, he's climbing to 4,000 feet, and he gets a call from air traffic control. And he was under air traffic control, and they say, you have DC-10, 12 o'clock, 4,000 feet, and there's no answer. And so the air traffic control comes back again like a minute later and says, you got traffic at 2 o'clock, 4,000 feet, DC-10 heavy. And he goes, I got him, I see him.
Yeah.
And he answers. And then like about a minute or two later, he gets on, and all we hear is, I needed to deviate, and that's it. And the transmission ends. And so he is saying that he needed to deviate his course from where he was going because of the DC-10. I think he thought it was the DC-10. I think that everybody thinks he thought it was the DC-10 that he was seeing.
Right.
He performs an emergency collision avoidance maneuver. They got this on radar, and in fact, on the audio, they can hear his annunciator, the speed warning annunciator, telling him he's overspeeding the aircraft. He's going too fast because he's in this dive.
Yeah, he's
trying to not hit this thing, and of course, it hits him anyway.
Right.
And so the crash investigators come in later and try to figure it out, and they find the Cessna in the swamp in 1,000 pieces. And the preliminary report.
But not in the swamp. Kind
Well,
of
it was
on
all
the swamp.
over. It was
On the swamp.
It was scattered over 2 football fields. Okay.
Yes.
But
So-
typically, what is an aircraft that goes into a swamp? What does it look like?
Yeah, right. This
You're
is
just
everybody at
stuck.
home. This is like an exercise for everybody at home. You can do this on your own. We're going to do a little GTMF. And get on Google and type in small plane crashes into swamp. And then click images.
Yep.
And if you do that,
It
you'll
doesn't look
find
like
lots
that.
of pictures of airplanes that go thuck. When
Yeah.
they go in the mud, they just go thuck.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
600-foot area of debris field.
Yeah.
So we're thinking the thing was already apart when it
yeah. And
scattered
so,
across.
I mean,
the
if you go
debris
look at
field.
the pictures online of the airplane, I mean, it's crazy. And I don't know if anybody can.
Yeah, I don't know if the wreckage is on there. I know the plane.
But
couldn't
anyway,
find-
it's in 1,000 pieces. It exploded. It didn't crash in the swamp. And that it's obvious to anybody looking at it that this airplane exploded in flight. And in fact, the debris was scattered perpendicular to the flight path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also very telling. How did it get on this horizontal path over 2 football fields? Something hit it and hit it hard. And it exploded.
And there's a bay next to it. It's like there's a body of water, right?
Yeah, it's a
in the
little
area.
bay. It's a little bay, and
one of the stories was that whatever hit it might have ended up in the bay, but they searched the bay, right?
they searched the bay, and they couldn't find anything. You know, they couldn't find any other wreckage. And you know, here's for anybody. I don't know if you can see that at home, but if you look at these things, this is what the airplane looked like. And show the next page there. The next
Don't have
page.
any classified material.
No, there's no classified. This is. I don't have any classified. I don't have any classified material.
None here.
None.
None is
Not
here.
ever. Not at my house.
We
not
would
anywhere.
never. No, it's all
But this
true.
is a picture of the wreckage. It's 1,000 pieces. Now compare that to your little Google exercise that you've been out online, and like airplanes that crash into a swamp do not look like that.
Right.
So that was the thing that tells me that they lied. And it also took years for the final report to come out, because the preliminary report,
You said like 2006, right?
yeah, the
Versus a
preliminary
crash.
report said midair collision with unknown object.
Yeah.
Right.
And those of us around the table here know that's not going to fly.
Correct.
Not
Right.
at all. And they took that back so fast. And I've never found that report, that preliminary report. I've looked for it. Because that's cool. That's just like, this is just like Roswell. Because, oops, we did something wrong, and then they got to back it out. And so in the end, they came up with
They did a report.
NTSP did
Yes,
the
they
report
did.
and said it was
And then they had
pilot
us-
error, and that he crashed it because he was disoriented, because he was mistaking the moon or something in the sky for the DC-10, and he was avoiding something that he didn't need to avoid, and ended up crashing his airplane into the swamp.
That
This
was,
guy was really a good pilot. This
Right.
is not possible.
Initially was 2002, right?
Yeah, I think
And
that-
then the supplemental report comes out in 2006
it
or
took, well, and
2006.
there's so many
4 years later.
things about this. So there's these transfer marks.
So
One
the
of
voice recording is actually on
Oh, it is.
YouTube under Night Ship 282 cockpit voice recording.
oh, there you go.
In case somebody wants to hear it.
Here,
So-
just put it to the microphone.
Oh,
I haven't heard that.
Hold up.
Let's listen.
By examining the original cockpit voice recording.
Ship 282 traffic at 12 o'clock, U.S. 7 miles southbound, heavy DC-10, 4,000. Ship 2 is looking up IFC. Roger.
The air traffic controller now is saying that there's a heavy, meaning a DC-10, anything over 300,000 pounds, that is 7 miles ahead of him, but there's nothing to really be concerned about. The conditions are IMC, and what that stands for is Instrument Meteorological Conditions. Reduced visibility.
Could weather conditions cause the crash? Haynes doesn't think so.
Any pilot that is instrument rated is trained to deal with that sort of situation. It's not unusual at all.
Ship 282, you still IMC, but that DC-10 is 1 o'clock and 2 miles southbound at 4,000.
Now we have the air traffic controller telling the pilot that DC-10 is only 2 miles ahead of him, and his job is to keep those airplanes apart.
Roger, I got it above me right now.
The pilot has told the tower he's broken out of the clouds and he can see this DC-10 flying above him. What we're going to hear next is the final transmission between the pilot and the ground.
I needed to deviate. I needed to deviate. I needed to deviate.
Oh, wow.
I needed...
This is
really
difficult to listen to because
And that was the end of that.
in this
Wow.
pilot's voice. What was he responding to?
He was crying, and I'm going to die right now. He
Yeah.
knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
He knew
That's
it was his final
insane.
transmission. And so, what's really strange about this whole thing is there are a lot of complaints that this is so weird.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
That there's no wreckage of, I mean, because the initial report said mid-air collision, and there was no other vehicle.
I don't think the conclusion's right.
And so,
Well, and there was paint transfer.
well, there was
Yeah.
these marks here, and they got these
Oh,
marks.
you
And
got-
so
that's
this is
good.
a lot like Roswell. So
Red, right?
because the final report said that it was pilot error, but for some reason they sent pieces of the wreckage to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
Right. Why would
for
the
analysis
military-
of these
Which
red
is where-
transfer marks.
Which is what?
Well, and they evaluated them, right? And what
So
did
they're doing a materials analysis on the red transfer marks. Why, we don't know. But, actually,
Were
because
they on
everybody-
the exterior
actually,
of the plane or the interior?
exterior, they were on the nose landing gear
Was it
and
black
all over the plane and
marks
all the
too?
way to the horizontal
The
stabilizer.
NTSB
So-
report stated that they were part of the cargo and they were inside.
Okay, so this is so
How's the
stupid.
inside get to the outside?
It's okay. Okay, so the inside of the stuff got on the outside of the airplane from the
Right.
nose wheel to the tail. And so,
Yeah.
my theory,
Yeah.
I have a theory, and it's like, well, obviously, the fact is that whatever hit it was as big as the Cessna,
Yeah.
or bigger.
Or
Right.
bigger.
He really must have been freaking out at the end.
He listened. I mean, he's like, I needed to deviate. Like,
He
he was going to hit something, but it wasn't at DC-10.
And
So,
so-
what hit him?
It was too far.
So they sent,
Right.
even though it was pilot error, they sent some of the wreckage in to analyze these marks that hit the airplane from stem to stern. We don't know why, but they did. And then they come out with this cockamamie thing that these marks are similar to materials inside the plane. And again, like the piece of metal that they found, they also found a piece of metal, and they found it embedded in the wing. And the thing
Yeah.
that all us paranormal people are saying, this is not right. What is this piece of metal? It's not from the plane. And they said it was from the plane.
Bullshit.
And
Yeah,
they
they
found
said
out
it
that it
was-
was from the plane. They did, and it's like
Well, that's what they said. I mean, they
They
say
got
a
the
lot
pictures
of things.
here.
Did they show a piece of where it came off of?
Yes.
What about the
yeah.
And
pieces?
this is a power supply
You might
for
wanna
the
show that.
avionics. It looks like to me. And they show the thing.
It was part of the instrumentation
It
package.
was
they
part of
said.
the avionics.
So how did the
right.
piece of the instrumentation package
On
hit
the
the
outside,
outside
hit the
of the
plane.
wing?
When an airplane that crashes in the swamp goes thuck.
Yeah,
It goes
yeah.
Thuck.
Yeah.
How does,
Well, that one
they
just
didn't
was-
mention how this piece from inside the
Let's
airplane
see.
got outside
It
the
turned
airplane.
inside
That
out.
one kind of fluttered down in pieces. I don't know if it thumped.
Right.
So to
Yeah.
me, this is just a complete fabrication. I
Yeah.
would love to get these pieces of the wreckage to someone like Gary Nolan and
Yeah.
have a real person do a real analysis on these red marks and
Do
find
they
out
keep
what they
things
were.
like this from, does the NTSP?
Well,
The
I,
DHL.
Do they keep that?
well, I'm sure the pieces that went to Ohio, you're not going to
Well,
get
Wright
those. but-
Patterson, it's with the UFOs that they got hidden there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the same warehouse.
But
They're like, we're going to bury this with 9/11 stuff.
In the show, they showed his sister out there.
Yeah, I heard that's what you
in
said.
the swamp.
Looking.
Looking. And she
Wow.
was finding more stuff that they didn't find after the fact.
Right.
They were done searching, but she was still finding stuff. So, and she might actually have some pieces of the wreckage. And,
Well, I have
that
a metal
would be
detector,
awesome.
and we
So-
can get a boat.
Somebody needs to get on this story because it was kind of like, I've never heard of it before either.
I think it's
yeah.
a smoking gun, and
Yeah.
it's just like Roswell all over again. Because it's like,
I knew her.
Come on. It's like he
So that's where we're at, unless we can get it
there was
analyzed.
There was a
Yeah.
lawsuit. His sister sued the FAA. I heard it was for $70 million.
For
In
what?
fact,
For what?
for not keeping him away from the DC-10. And her theory, she's also a pilot, her theory was that he got caught up in the vortex, the wingtip vortex of the DC-10, which is a huge airplane.
Oh yeah.
And it
that
was
sent him
close
down.
enough where that actually could have happened.
But the wreckage of the plane says otherwise.
And it's like, it all fits, except
The wreckage.
the wreckage of the
Yeah.
airplane.
It says otherwise.
And it's like,
Uh-uh.
I'm sorry. He knew it was coming. He had a midair collision. He knew what was going to happen. And I think...
Yeah, the same thing happened with the guy that flew his Mustang. He was chasing a UFO back in the 40s. I don't know if they were around the 40s.
Oh, yeah, he died. Yeah, he got
And
too
he
high. They
chased
said
it.
he
They-
blacked out, and nobody knows.
They said he blacked out, but
I don't know if I heard that one either.
You can get 15,000 feet before you start losing oxygen.
Pass out, yeah.
But they say the theory is he ended up running right into the UFO because the same story. It was a large debris field. It wasn't just even though they were basically at a tarmac, but they said there was just debris everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like he had to have hit something. And then their report was he was chasing Venus. That was the
Yeah, I
Venus
do
report.
remember
Well,
that.
that's again, like they're saying the moon was out this night, and he
Yeah.
mistook the moon for the DC-10, and like, come on, he's on instrument, he's not You know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing this before. This isn't his first rodeo.
Well, they say it was like 1.7 nautical miles in separation from the DC-10. I mean, that was documented on the
That's a
radio.
long way.
He wasn't even anywhere close.
Yeah.
Did she win the lawsuit?
Do
we know?
I haven't heard. But
They
I'd
may
love
not
to
have known.
kind of contact her. And
Yeah,
if there's a piece of that wreckage out there anywhere, we need to
well, it
get it
might
to
be
Gary
interesting
Nolan,
to
folks.
contact her and maybe get, communicate with her, see where they're at with the story, do a
We're talking
kind of follow-up
22 years
story.
ago. So 2002.
She's probably pretty old.
Yeah, she's
know,
probably as old as we are now. I don't know. Not you, because
that's
you're young.
possible.
You're a kid
You're
compared to me.
You're young.
A youngster. But
I don't feel
no,
it.
I don't know. But this is the thing that got me hooked on this stuff.
That's
'Cause
awesome.
I know. Just go
So you
look
have a
at
whole
those.
file on
Night
that.
Ship 282. That's a
Go
good
look at those
case.
Do you,
crashes in the
have any
swamp.
other projects you're working on, or was that just kind of something?
Well, that's kind of the one that got me into this, and of course, I don't know. I am
When you're
writing
retired.
a book. I'm kind of writing a book, and actually, this is something I need
Yeah,
to
let's
do.
talk about your. He's in
This
this
is
book.
like
I didn't know he was writing a book.
this is not
Well,
my
he's in
book.
that.
Oh, okay.
But
so
this is not my book. This is a book by Paul Vecchiet.
Disclosure Paradox.
It's a good. I read it, and a friend of mine is involved with the publisher somehow, and he asked me to review it because he knew I was into UFOs.
Right.
And so yeah, here I am.
And he's in
Right
it.
after
Oh,
John,
you got
right
that.
after Dr. Death.
review.
Here's Stephen Jacobson.
Yeah,
I did
Dr.
say
Death.
my name. I wasn't going to say my name, and I don't care.
Read,
Dr.
what, read
Death.
what he wrote. Can you read
John
that?
B. Alexander.
I love that Tinder. I love this book. It starts out with Lewis on his tedious UFO lecture circuit, easing you into ET culture slowly, like getting into a nice warm bath. But before we know it, our unexpected heroes on a cross-country, mind-expanding adventure of a lifetime. It's a wild ride. The characters are rich and believable. The ET subject matter is accurately portrayed. In the end, Lewis finds his roots, and I am left wondering what I can do about it to improve humanity.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty
The
embarrassed about being.
Disclosure Paradox.
Yes, that's a
Where
great
can we
read.
find
It's
it,
a lot of
Amazon?
fun. It's on
Probably.
Amazon. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on Amazon.
So is this kind of a true story, or what?
It's a novel. No, it's a novel, but there's lots of stuff in it, which is
the
true.
hybrid phenomenon we know about.
Well, this is
That's
like,
right. Hey, you
it
read,
brings
yeah.
in all kinds
There's a
of
few
stuff that
hybrids
you
at our
know
meeting.
about, and our guy is.
Thank you
know,
for the book.
Yeah,
I've been
read it and enjoy
I've
that.
been gifted.
And
I'll give it to
pass
you
it around
next.
and let you know.
Let me see it. I want to look through it.
Yeah.
And I hope it does well. I hope it sells 1 million copies.
Amazon, right? You
Yeah,
get
it's
it
on
at Amazon.
I, that's a pre-release, and I think it's out there now. I don't know, but
That's a quick read too.
it's fun. It's a
Next,
fun
I
one.
want. Okay, now we're gonna. Are we done with?
I don't
Right.
have anything more really, except
Okay.
that we need to get some of this wreckage off to.
So you'll
a
contact
materials
you'll
lab.
contact the sister, and put her in touch with us.
Yeah, if I would love to.
If you
I
can,
don't know
yeah.
how.
You got assignment now. This is your project.
This is a project.
This is your project.
We need to
This is
know.
your-
All I know
we're
is
giving
that-
Steve all the credit.
Actually, I didn't give
I-
my theory.
Doug's
I should
gonna
say
fund
what
it,
my.
too.
I have my own personal theory, and anybody who's a Trekkie, photon torpedo. That's my answer.
He did
That's
say
what
that.
it
That's
was.
right.
I'm saying I have no
Are
idea.
you funding
what-
his mission?
What
Well, we
next?
did fund
Okay,
my
so
coffee
Steve,
cup.
Steve gave us an assignment.
Yeah.
We need
It was really. I like a person that's prepared. I'll
Yes.
get people on here and they're like, but I like Corso the Day After Roswell.
Oh.
I thought I had that book, and I went into my library.
I'm
and
sorry.
I don't have it.
I read that book. It was one of the first books
That's
I read
like
when I
the
started
books.
getting.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Why do
He's
you think
full of
it's
crap as a
Steve thinks
Christmas
it's
turkey.
BS?
He's just full of BS.
Right.
Why
right.
do you think? Why do you?
Well,
do you
I think
it's
he's a
full of
liar.
BS too?
I think.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. It's like having worked in this world of classified information. Okay, so you got the UFO on the back of the truck, and you're hauling it off to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, I believe. And they stopped at Fort Riley in Kansas, I think it is.
Right.
Fort
Yes,
Riley in Kansas.
It is.
And so they got the super secret stuff on the back of the truck, but we're going to offload it from the back of the truck into this warehouse because we're going to keep it here for a while. Now, I don't know why we do that. We're moving it. Why are we offloading the truck when there's no reason for it to be offloaded? That's number one. And then we're going to put a guy in charge of it to guard it who's not cleared. That's
Yeah.
such crap. That is not possible. That's not the way it works. And then so he gets his commanding officer over there, Philip Corso, Colonel Corso over there. It's like, hey, Colonel Corso, look what's in here. You know, there's an alien in here.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make
What's
that
wrong
doesn't
with
fly
that?
at all. That's not how it works.
But
So
that-
first off, they wouldn't offload it off the truck. And again, if they were going to have someone guarded, it's going to be one of their guards who's cleared and who's
Yeah.
part of their team.
Yeah, not
They're
just
not going to
someone.
let some idiot
Yep.
go. You know, that makes no sense. So that's the first tell. The second tell is that he says his general is just giving him all this, and you just go do this. Just take care of this for me. I don't want to deal with this alien crap. You just take care of it. Don't tell me anything about it. You just take care of it. You know?
That's not true.
That's not how generals work. I hired you for a job, and I'm going to tell you what to do.
That's
I'm
right.
General Blowhard, and I blow hard, and you're going to do what I say, and you're going to do 3 bags full.
That's right.
Colonel,
Yep.
get to work, and here's what I want you to do. They don't just send you off, do whatever you want. That's not how it works in the military.
Were you
They
in the
gotta tell
military?
you- No, I wasn't, but I worked with them a lot. They'll tell you what they want you to do.
Yes, they do.
They're not shy.
Most of my family's military.
So I think Corso, I bet he heard rumors around the Pentagon. You know,
It's kind of like Bob Lazar. They just kind of hear
Oh
stuff.
boy.
maybe.
They kind of hear stuff and then they adopt it to.
Oh, you know, but this is another thing, you know, about, you know, study of UFOs is study of people, right? We all study people because we don't have any evidence, and we just, do I believe that guy or not? He looks
Yeah.
pretty wacky to me. I don't know. And I don't know. People believe what they want to believe, and I want to believe Bob Lazar.
Well, I want to believe him too, but he's full of shit.
He probably
So
is.
yeah,
Because the biggest question is who would give him a security clearance?
He
And it's
knew
like-
he
some
didn't.
stuff,
Okay,
though.
all right. You guys need to
He
get your
knew
facts.
some stuff. Oh,
You
boy.
gues need to get your facts right.
Here comes to the
Okay, now,
Lazar
okay.
You
debate.
guys tell me about Bob
Lazar didn't have the security clearance ultimately that he needed to see what he says he saw. His wife was having an affair with her flight instructor, so they killed. Be like, you know what would happen if you were involved in that.
Well, if you
type
have
of-
anything to hide,
He knew about the
you can't have
element
Well,
anything
it's
before-
the fact that it's an unstable
Yeah.
He knew about
relationship.
the
and-
element before anybody ever mentioned it. He knew how that craft worked before anybody ever mentioned it. He brought them to places where they were actually testing or doing something. So he knew stuff, but again, I don't know if he was actual there.
I think he just heard it.
I don't know how he got video.
But does that
tapes.
matter?
He knew on a certain date and time to have a party out
Well,
there
they
to
were.
watch.
I think he
He's still the all great Lazar. Does that
He's-
matter? Just because he was hiding behind
I'm
the
not
curtain,
a fan.
like the Wizard of Oz,
Not a Lazar
he was still
fan.
the
I
Oz.
love this stuff because it's so wacky.
Well,
you
they're
know? It's like really
developing.
cool.
I don't know if you know, Matt. They're developing. Lazar's doing a deal where they actually are doing a 3D.
Yes, yeah, we
video.
watched that,
This
yeah.
been going on. It's not,
I still haven't seen that yet.
no,
So,
we talk
yeah.
about it at work. Now, I want to talk about since you were with Grumman Northrop Grumman.
That's right. Get it right. No, we bought them.
Yeah, I want that coffee cup. where
There's
something disappears.
and you know the Jake. What's his name?
Jake.
Bake. The
Not
egg
with-
guy.
Yeah,
The guy. Have you seen the video of the guy picking up the UFO egg? And the
Oh yeah,
helicopter?
yeah.
The whistleblower.
It doesn't
I-
look real to me.
What do I
I
think?
don't
I have
understand it. I don't.
I have an acquaintance. Let's say
If
that-
there's a helicopter, why isn't
Yeah.
all the grass moving? You know, I don't.
I have an acquaintance that said that it doesn't look real at all. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
just
think it looks real at all either. In
It's
fact,
actually
I saw,
done.
I saw
Was
a
it
thing that
Barber?
that
Yeah.
had
Jake
it.
Barber.
not from State
Well,
Farm.
you'd be interested to know that it's come out as probably a rumor, but it could be true, that he works for Northrop Grumman.
Okay.
That's the company that actually employed him to get these crash retrieval things. You know.
Yeah, well,
I thought
I'm
he
not
had his own business
I'm not a
company,
fan of all
Skywatcher, or
that
Skywatch.
idea that all our
What do you know
technology
about this?
came from alien UFO crash retrieval. I don't believe any of that because I know, for instance, they keep saying the B-2 came from our
Oh, the
something.
B-2 came
There's
from
no
alien
commonality
technology.
between an airframe and aircraft and something that flies using some sort of
Anti-gravity.
field gravitic propulsion that nobody really understands. We don't have the physics, so I just don't believe. And I listen to all the science guys like Lakatsky,
Elon
and
Musk doesn't believe it
Kelleher,
either.
Lakatsky,
No.
and the skinwalkers at the Pentagon. Man, that blew my mind. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many things that
Do you watch
It's-
Skinwalker Ranch?
I did.
He's got to go through all the things.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last time because
So we covered. We covered.
Well, let's
Czar.
just ask this:
We covered now.
did you watch Oak Island?
oh, absolutely.
Okay,
That's how come I know about
Skinwalker Ranch's Oak Island with UFOs. You're never going to see these. It's going to go
It's for
year
entertainment purposes
after
only.
year
I like
after
You ever
year.
see the guy
Travis
that hangs
Taylor,
up?
I'm
Dr.
not
Taylor,
finding anything.
You know, I read Alien Invasion by Dr. Travis Taylor, and that was a
Travis
good
Taylor.
read. But I
Travis
need to go
Taylor.
get me a shotgun and a pistol because you
Travis
know
Taylor.
it's the fan. You're
This
not worried
is
about the
weird.
aliens. It's going to be your neighbor. When all hell breaks
Well, you
loose.
live in a kind of an out in
Okay.
the kind of a, you live in the up in the mountains.
I
I
do.
should
I'm
say.
out there in the woods.
Do you ever see anything?
No, I've never
Do
seen.
you look
anything.
up a lot?
I do. Actually, that's not true. I take it back. I have seen something. I was camping down at.
You haven't talked about this before, have you?
I don't think I have.
No.
I have seen. I
right,
was
let's hear it.
camping,
Here's
and we were getting ready
first.
to go to bed, and we were. The lake. It's a big lake.
That's the story.
It's a big lake. Anyway, so we're just getting ready to go to bed, and there's two bright lights right almost directly overhead, and it's like, what the hell?
Any noise?
They're not moving, no noise. They're just two bright lights.
Just sitting
Just
there.
very bright, really bright. The brightest thing in the sky.
I
You
smell
know, brightest
missing.
is Jupiter. You know,
I smell
like
missing
that.
time. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I look up and then it's like, oh, what the hell? So I'm trained. I'm gonna go get my app out and I'm gonna find out what planet that is or what
Yeah.
the hell that is.
Is
And I
it-
look up, and they're both gone.
That's the thing. You got to keep watching.
Oh!
It's like, they're both. I got
They
my
just
phone
don't
down,
think
I
you're
look up,
interested.
and
Did
they're
the wife
gone.
see this too, or just you?
No, it was just me,
Just
and I never reported it to anybody because I was, into the Jack
That's a
Daniels.
quick one.
I was into my
Well, you
Jack
looked at-
Daniels as usual, so nobody's
See?
going to believe
I'm
me.
going to have to give you a bottle of Jack as a consolation gift for going on the show today.
That's the other sore subject you just touched upon is you had a sighting and the guy sitting across from you has not.
I've never had a sighting.
That's sore subject number 3.
Yeah, well,
I'm not. Are you a musician?
no,
You play?
They're not only
I just have to ask.
no.
Seems like there's a lot of
I love your
musicians.
discussion. I forget his name, but there was a thrasher guitarist you were talking to, and it sounded like you guys are connecting there on the music level. But,
Oh, the dude from, I think he's talking about the dude from
Heathen.
Heathen.
Yeah, Mike
He was from
Destrimsky.
Mike,
Scotland
yeah.
or someplace.
I
That was cool.
don't know if you
liked
saw
him.
the-
I thought he was completely whacked, but then all of a sudden it's like, this guy's pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
That
he's
was
not
his-
crazy.
Oh,
The guy-
Adam, his
Adam,
brother.
Adam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam's a contractor. He does.
But I
he
do,
does really
we're
good work.
always sizing people up because, it's the reports, and it's like the
Yeah.
thing for me was it's real because the reports are real. And one of the books I read was Them by Whitley Strieber, and that really
Great
got
book.
me. That really got me because
That and Communion.
14,000 letters were sent to him and his wife.
They read
his
through
wife,
all
he was
of
going
it.
to dump him, and his wife said,
Uh-uh.
"No, we
Yeah.
can't dump this. This is evidence.
That's such an
Yeah.
amazing story.
This is evidence, and it is. And it's like 14,000 people passionately wrote him about their experiences.
Did you know he had to file bankruptcy?
No, why?
Yeah, he had a cabin, a really nice cabin
In
somewhere.
New York, yeah.
And he
Yeah.
lost the cabin because
I didn't know
How
that.
they
can he be
put
bankrupt? He's
he
gotta be
was on
filthy rich.
he was on not anymore. He was on
So this is recently?
I don't know how old.
He's-
I heard him on he was on a podcast. I think it was pretty.
He has his
recently.
own podcast now.
He was a guest. And,
Dreamland or something.
He and he might be doing better now, but he.
But this is
It's just like Willie Nelson or whatever. And
yeah,
he,
he
his taxes
they
or
put
something.
well. This is no, it's not a tax thing. He ended up on South Park. They did a parody.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I know that.
Yeah,
I know that. They made fun of
They
him.
made fun of his basic rape, is what they did with that.
Yeah,
that
and
was
so what
bullshit.
they did,
That's
it killed nobody.
Oh.
Less.
It
people.
ruined his business, basically.
Yeah,
Of-
basically
of-
ruined the business. It's a really kind of he's an interesting dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he is
You
a
know?
good writer, and
Hey,
those books
Communion
are
was amazing.
fascinating.
And
And
so
I
was
just,
them.
and I take that as just the truth, But I
Are we done talking about Corso being full of shit?
yeah, I guess I don't have anything.
You
else.
don't have
I just want to
anything
go
more.
on the record. The course.
You just want to get your
I
opinion.
don't remember if I've ever read that book. I just remember
I haven't.
watching
I
a
can
lot
give-
of
I can give it
stuff
to
and
you.
hearing a lot of stuff about him being full of shit. So my own opinion really doesn't matter there, but I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think he's very believable.
And you mentioned science and religion are the same thing.
Oh, yeah, that's that article that it's like, again, this is one you can find out there on the internet. It's like, I saw an article written by an astronomer, I don't remember his name, but the headline, for the article was the belief in extraterrestrial is spiraling out of control, and here's why that's so dangerous.
I think I've seen
So
that.
it's like that headline got me going, because okay, here's an astronomer, and it's spiraling out of control. Well, who controls? What is somebody in control here?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Out of what control?
Out of whose control? And so I gotta ask, why do you think it needs to be controlled? And and I have a big issue with the Big Bang. I'm an engineer and a scientist, and I think they're full of crap, and they're just as crazy to say that the universe started from an infinitesimally small point, and this is a mathematical construct. This is not physics. There you go. And it's like, so I think that when people, they believe this. This is like taking and extrapolating a theory, and it's complete speculation. But the idea that the whole universe was in an infinitesimally small point, this is a mathematical construct. It's not a real thing, and I can't believe it. And it's like it's like it's a theory, but they really push it, and they believe it. And it's like you fight with them, they get mad. And it's like this guy thinks he controls people's beliefs, and that's why I think science and religion are exactly the same thing.
Right.
I believe in UFOs, and we were talking about the person with the camera took a picture of the sun, and there's an artifact, and they believe that lens flare is a UFO, and they believe it. And I thought it was really kind of a telling conversation when we were talking about this at MUFON. And
Careful.
Yeah.
People watch this.
I know. No, I know they're happier.
You don't want to.
You don't want to. Fans are from that meeting.
You'll get side-eyed when you walk in the room.
But it's like so. So that's fine,
us.
and that's true. I believe when you have a lens flare, that's also. But this thing about chemtrails and everybody down there, and it bothers me that people like. We were just talking about people, and
there you go.
People believe what they want to believe. And if people want to believe in chemtrails, it makes me sad that people want to hate their government. I don't want to hate my government. I like my...
High chance.
And here comes the star of the show.
All right, I'm getting a kiss.
Man, I don't get kisses.
I get kisses.
Chance.
All right.
Usually it's only one kiss.
I get a kiss.
Well, she likes me.
Yeah.
It's a boy, but that's
It's a boy.
okay.
Okay, he likes me.
Kiss.
Anyway, so I just... we believe what we want to believe, and some people want to hate their government, and it's like this chemtrail thing. I'm an expert on airplanes, and I try to stand up and tell the people at MUFON that, you know what?
Buddy. Here's the other star of the show, Max.
Jensen Max.
Say Max. Say he's
Yes.
like, hi.
Anyway,
They have to make an appeal. Oh, no,
Yes.
you
we
killed
try
it.
try to tell the people at MUFON that the
Thank you.
chemtrails are probably something from QAnon. It's obvious that they want to hate the government, and they're doing this to us. And it's just like, come on, they're not. I built airplanes. There's no airplanes out there doing it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I'm an airplane expert, and so it's just like I build airplanes, and yet nobody wants to listen to me. And that's you got to let that go. It's
Yeah.
like when people want
So
to
do you
believe.
think what do you think of the chemtrails? Is that just
He doesn't
I
believe
think
him.
it's another.
it's a phenomenon
It's
because
another-
of the
this-
over the
This
atmosphere?
is QAnon. These are Russian bots.
Yeah, you should be more
These
worried
are
about your
Russian, I
phone
don't know
than
if you know about the Russian
chemtrails.
bots, but the Russian bots are writing half the articles that blast our government for this and that, and things like chemtrails. And I don't know, people love to hate our government. I don't know. I don't hate it, but sorry, folks, this is the new atomic bomb.
Right.
You need to go out on Netflix and watch Social Dilemma and use your head when you read this stuff. Use your common sense. I was a jurist. That's another thing. And it's like when you're an aerospace engineer, you get to be a jurist. And I was on jury every 2 years, and it's like you hear a lot of judges' instruction, and when you
Digital
can tell
evidence.
that they're lying, you throw it out. You don't take it, you throw it all out. So
Yeah.
you cannot believe anything that the government tells you. We know that they're lying. That's obvious. So I don't know, but
Well, because their lips are moving. That's how you know they're lying.
I don't know. But
Yeah,
just because it's on your cell phone doesn't mean it's true. And chemtrails are right up there with Corso.
Do you have an Apple phone?
I do not. I have an Android because real people don't use Apple.
Yeah.
Real engineer.
Another
I'm an
conspiracy
engineer.
theorist.
I don't want to be stuck to Apple products.
I thought it was it's like because they can see what Apple phones, the Chinese are watching you.
Yeah, well,
You know.
this is like, how do you know they're not listening to everything you say right there?
But
They can
Android,
turn it
they
on.
can't. Well, I've got a friend who's a real conspiracist, and he says
I
you'll
have a
never
flip-
have an Apple phone.
Flip phone. I'm going back to
You
flip
know,
phone.
I think he has a flip phone. because Every time I
love
talk
my
to him,
flip
it's
phone.
you
I
know.
love that.
Well, with science and religion, science is you ask how if you're a scientist, and in religion you ask why. It's kind of a different,
Yeah, but
it's kind of a. But I understand what you're saying.
well, they're
about
kind of like the people who support, their institution. The only thing that's different is the institution is now their university instead of the church.
Yeah.
And they fight you. I don't know. I think that it's very similar. People believe what they want to believe, and if you want to believe in the Big Bang, that's fine. I don't know. The other thing about that is if you come back, and it's just like they run the film backwards, and the universe comes back in, and it comes in, and it's like, guess what? All these stars that are moving away from us in every direction, they all come back to us. And where is this infinitesimally small point? Oh, it's where we are. We're the center of the universe? I don't think so.
No.
It's like...
They're already figuring that
Yeah.
out. But the discovering
light.
of way out there new stars. So they way out there should be old stars. Way out there is new stars. So that means we are not the center.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And they do theorize that if you were at one of those galaxies at the edge of what we can see...
They should be
looking
the
back,
oldest galaxy
you're
ever.
going to see the exact same thing
Right.
in the other direction.
Exactly.
Everything
Yep.
is moving away from you exactly the same.
Exactly.
But where's the end? I mean,
There is no end.
There is no end. Yeah,
I
I was
mean,
gonna
how's
say.
that possible?
I don't know.
It's weird.
It's beyond our
It's weird.
Our
It's like you
feeble-
just keep
Just
going.
like the
Just
UFO
keep going forever.
thing, I think it's beyond our comprehension.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
believe
I don't
that.
think it's just things out there from other. I think it's so beyond our comprehension that we're like, wait, what? So it's. I don't think. I think the understanding of it's going to take time.
Well, yeah, and we may never get there because, like,
Correct.
take Fido. Fido, your dog. What's your dog's name? I forgot it. Anyway,
Oh, Max and
Max. Did Max like to
Chance.
ride in the car? I'd love to ride in a UFO.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just because Max likes
and
to
you
ride
probably
in the car.
stick your head out the window and just
and
drool
it's like,
while
this
it's
is great, Like, actually,
He
and
does
I
do
did
that.
have a dream. I did have an out of
Bullet
body
hit.
experience dream once, which was kind of weird. And
Did you really? Oh,
I did.
Tell
where
us.
I used my brain to fly wherever I wanted to in this dream.
That was.
That's
And I was using. And I had
Wait.
this.
Well, he flew out of his house.
I had.
Hey, I had an out of body experience.
Out of body experience.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
went right through the roof. Or
But you
whatever.
were in a craft, or you were
I
flying.
was just in my
Okay,
my
yeah, that's-
body
that's
out there
most
just
likely-
You don't
flying
need
around.
ships. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was so much
That's
fun,
the
and I was
out-of-body.
just having this great dream. And
Scared
I
the
thought,
shit
then all
out
of
of
a
me.
sudden I got scared, and I go, "Oh my
Yep.
God, what if I lose my
back.
concentration and I fall?" And then this voice comes in and says, "Don't be an idiot. Your body's still in bed." Oh, okay. So I went back to
So that
flying
is out of
around
body.
again. But this
Yeah.
is weird
It's
because
lucid dreaming.
a lucid dream
Yeah.
about the dream, and I'm in a dream, and somebody's talking to me in my dream. That's very strange.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I've had those to where it's not like a regular dream with shit just happening to you, where you can actually interact with people and stuff. And I've had those before.
That's
That's
yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Where you're just it's the best because when you're dozing off. Usually when I take a nap, I love taking naps.
Yeah,
I rarely get to do it, but
Yeah.
You know, brain-
I'll in the afternoon I just kind of doze off and
Yeah.
then a dog barks.
Our
and I wake up.
consciousness,
Hey,
it's
wait,
like, I
sure.
think Lukatsky and those guys, they're really onto something, because our consciousness is weird. It's electrical.
It's all about
And you
consciousness.
know what?
I agree with that.
Our consciousness is electrical, though who's to say that a life form couldn't be just electrical consciousness?
Correct.
And then
Correct.
it looks like a plasma ball. Maybe there's
Light.
1,000
What about these light
consciousnesses
beings?
in that ball of light that's flying around out there. They do kind of look like animals, like fireflies flying around.
Energy
They're mating.
never
I don't know when they
dies.
come together and they fly apart. I don't
You know this. Energy never dies. It transfers.
That's right.
So
That's exactly right.
Nothing. Basically, it's nothing dies because it transfers to something else.
That's right. And we
So
all
light
know
beings could be energy.
Energy can transfer into matter, and matter can transfer into energy.
I think
know
we
that,
knew
and
that.
Apparently, they go back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think we knew that, and somehow we lost it because we used to not talk and verbally communicate. Hundreds of years
Thousands
ago,
ago,
right?
yeah.
So I think we are still able to do that, but we don't need to anymore because now we talk and we write, and we've got the computer and all that.
Well, there's a great. I don't know if you guys have checked out this. What is it? UFO Investigating the Unknown. I think.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
It's a really good show.
Yeah, Doug was going to let me watch that.
It's
I'm
really
on television.
good. I've recorded it on my DVR, and it's very good. And they have all the rock stars of the UFO world.
There's like 4 of them out there. There's one on Netflix. There's one on...
George Knapp.
George Knapp has his one out there. Yeah, there's like so many.
Investigation Alien, and they have an actual video of a orb flying into the water and going underwater on that.
Oh, Transmedium.
They have a video. The guy was out there and he caught it on camera, and you can see it's under. Yeah,
it goes into the water.
Into the water, and you can see the light coming out of the water.
That's a Transmedium craft.
And it's like, well, could it be faked? You know, and it's like, well, yeah, it probably could.
Yeah, it's so hard.
You could have a light on a string, and the drone goes down, and the light goes in the water, and other lights underwater. Yep. So I bet they kind of addressed that and didn't think that they're.
Speaking of Transmedium, what's the name? One of my favorite, Richard Dolan, has a new book out about USOs.
USOs, yeah.
Yep.
I've been able to swap a few emails with George Knapp, actually.
Really?
No way, really?
He did. Because, on my UFO thing,
Jeremy is a big supporter of Doug's show, too.
My submarine piece.
We just hit on all the things Doug loves.
Anyway, I sent him my piece on the Nazi submarines, and he liked it.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He did. And I said, well, you can use it if you want.
That's awesome.
He's also a grumpy guy.
Is he? Yeah, that's funny because we were trying to hit on everything that Doug really digs.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate
that. Jeremy's a big supporter.
Where is
Jeremy Corbell?
I know you've talked about him before. I'm sure. Well, it's like that. Did you read that clip I sent you with the Soldier of Fortune guys that are, I don't know, they're talking about the drones being, Chinese ARVs launched from submarines to kill us all. It was just so ridiculous, and people do come up with ridiculous things.
There is, yeah.
So is the Pope dead?
I don't know. If he dies, then they do that whole ritual where they got to put the smoke out.
On X,
did I miss something?
On X, they say he's dead, and they're not going to announce his death until March 3rd.
What? I'm still upset that Gene Hackman and his wife and their dog.
Yeah, what happened to Gene Hackman and his wife and dog?
At first they said it was what was that? Carbon monoxide. Now they don't think it is. They said he took a fall. She might have threw a bunch of pills, and the dog was stuck in a kennel and probably died of starvation. And they've been dead for weeks.
He was in a closet.
Weeks. Was he in a closet?
The dog was in a closet.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. It certainly seems odd. There's a lot of mystery there.
I didn't even know about the Pope.
All right, you guys ready to wrap it up?
Well, I don't know. Is there anything else on our list that we were
supposed
to talk about?
We're going to have
we're running out of time. Steve, appreciate you coming on.
Well, this is fun. I got to be in the studio here, and this is great.
Yeah, the studio game room. And
this is Max's room.
Yeah, this is Max's room.
Max owns this room.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe podcast. I don't have my narrative, so I'm going to have to.
Oh, see, just you got it.
I couldn't find it. Find us on Instagram and YouTube.
Rumble.
Rumble, preferably Rumble, because we don't get a banner when we talk about COVID.
He gets paid.
Alien, check it out. Instagram, Alien Pro Pod. We're on 63 podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us there. Matt,
thank you.
Before I forget to say thank you.
Buy Steve's new book whenever it comes out.
It's not my book. It's Disclosure Paradox by Paul Vecchiet.
Yeah, he's going to be. Amazon. Steve's going to be writing his own book at some point.
I just want to meet John B. Alexander someday. Dr. Death. I think he's cool.
Awesome. See you next time.
Good job. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they won't get him raided by the government because they think there's a lot of top secret.